Our last guest of the day, the pandemic has touched each and every person, each and every industry, including the chiropractic industry. Joining us on the Oakland County Megacast is going to be Dr. Richard Levine. As soon as I pull him up here, because as everyone knows, this is my first week trying to navigate the board. And so for those that have been joining us, I appreciate your patience. As I've been making a few technical errors, as I can't even speak today as well, because pushing buttons and having to talk and think at the same time when you're over 40 gets a little bit difficult, Tyler. You're going to find out one day. So, Dr. Richard Levine, thank you for being on the Oakland County Megacast. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us, what has this time been like for your business? What's changed and how are you coming back from it?
It's definitely been an interesting last couple of months. When everything was starting to hit the Metro Detroit area pretty heavy in the tail end of March, we closed down our office. Now, being in healthcare, we could have stayed open, but we thought for our health, our employees' health, our patients' health, it would be in the best interest to close down. And since reopening in May, it's been very interesting. We're not operating as we normally would have. We're decreased staff. Obviously, our cleanliness, our disinfectant, everything we're doing to keep the office safe and secure and controlled is taking a lot more effort than we'd have been doing previously. But we're rolling. It's been interesting. But you drive down the road, you see a lot of for lease signs on businesses that were once profitable. So the fact that we're still open and thriving, we're blessed.
When you did finally get to reopen your doors, were you pretty busy because people were putting off coming to see you? Because usually if you go to a chiropractor, you go every week, every 2 weeks, there's a schedule.
Yep, so it's been very interesting. We had a lot of our regular patients, people we see weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, that hadn't seen us for a month and a half, 2 months. And then at the same time, you also saw a lot of people who working from home. Working from home comes with its own challenges. People are working without desks. They're working from bar stools. They're working on the couch. And then add the other element to it, which means people have their kids home from school. So, they're bending over, picking up toys, helping kids with their online homework. So posturally, working from home has not been great for the general public. So we're seeing a lot of spinal complaints as a result.
Are you seeing more kids come in as well?
Yeah, we're seeing, I would say in terms of the population we're seeing all ends of it. We're seeing seniors who, because they're stuck home and they're not able to go to the gym, they're not able to do the things they normally love, their spines are tight. They're not getting the activity they're used to. We're seeing kids who, they're used to be playing, they're used to going to their friends' houses. And now, during the school year, they were stuck at home doing this on a tablet, an iPad, on a laptop for so long to try to go to school. That spinal complaints that we normally saw in adolescents and adults, we're seeing in younger children as well.
So can you tell us, for all the people that are stuck at home and the students that are going to be right back where they were this past school year, what tips can you give to people that can't get out about their posture so that they don't end up having to come to you?
Well, ultimately, the best thing I would tell everybody is a lot of people took the quarantine. They thought that meant stay home, don't do anything. And while they were correct in that they should be staying home, they should be avoiding contact, avoiding crowded places, that doesn't mean there's no need to exercise. It doesn't mean there's no need to eat healthy. That doesn't mean there's no need to use good posture, to use good lifting habits. So the best thing I would say is get moving, go for a walk, exercise, stretch. Don't sit home and be a couch potato. And on that same note, I'd also say if you don't have a doctor of chiropractic, find one. If you do have a doctor of chiropractic, consult them on things that you can do at home, postural patterns, occupational habits, things you can do to, even if you don't have a problem in the spine, ways you can prevent a problem.
When do you know it's just a pain in your back and when to actually come see you?
Well, ultimately, without a chiropractic evaluation, there's really no way to know. And the reason I say that, pain in the spine is natural. You help a friend move a couch. You go on a long road trip. You sleep in a hotel mattress, a pull-out bed. Pain in the spine is very natural. But what I would say is, just like our dentist, just because we In my office, we use references and comparisons to the dental industry very often. And the reason is we brush our teeth every day. We don't wait till we have teeth decay to do it. We do it every day. We're supposed to floss regularly. We don't wait till we have gum issues. We use mouthwash daily. We don't wait till we have bacterial issues in the mouth. And the reason I use those examples is the spine's very similar. Just because we don't have pain doesn't mean that there's nothing going on beneath the surface. So the best way to keep the spine healthy is to see your doctor of chiropractic. And on that same note, just like we go to our dentist, we don't know there's a problem. We don't know there's something going on beneath the surface till we see our dentist. So on that note, a sore back, come see your doctor of chiropractic at Levine Clinic. I'm very fortunate. I'm the third generation of my family to be working at Levine Clinic. And since 1962, what we've been trying to stress and get our patients to understand is that the spine is very intricate, where the spine has two purposes. Obviously, for the sake of holding our body up, for locomotion, the spine is very important. But the spine is also the home to the nervous system. So if the spine is misaligned, if the spine is not working as it should be, the nervous system inside of it is going to be taking the brunt of that. It's going to be jeopardized. So just because we don't have pain doesn't mean there's nothing going on beneath the surface. So my recommendation for everybody at home, whether it be back pain, neck pain, or even no pain and wanting to just make sure that we don't have problems down the road, see your doctor of chiropractic and have them do an evaluation, just like you would see your dentist every 6 months for a dental evaluation.
Dr. Richard Levine, doctor at Levine Clinic of Chiropractic with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. Dr. Levine, over the course of the pandemic, many other doctors' offices and medical professionals have transitioned to telehealth or have added telehealth into their regular checkups with their patients. Has that occurred in your clinic of chiropractic, or is that something that's not entirely practical for the medicine you practice?
So you did hit a good point with us. It's not exactly practical as it is in other fields of healthcare. Now, with that said, we do telehealth visits. We do phone visits, Skype visits with our patients. But with that said, it's more so for existing patients if they want to go over home stretching or home therapies they could do. But our biggest thing that we've been trying to get through to our patients is, number one, all of our patients at Levine Clinic get their doctor's cell phone number. We want to make sure we're always available, always open. But in terms of telehealth, with chiropractic, you can't deliver an adjustment over the phone. Where other fields of medicine, they can renew a prescription, they can look at a rash. What we do does require in-person therapies, but we have found people, seniors that, for instance, we have seniors that are in senior homes or nursing homes that they're not allowed out because if they do, they have to be in quarantine in their room for 2 weeks when they come back. So we have been, making it work for other patients, doing home stretches, home therapies. But for the most part, we've not dug too far into the telehealth world.
Dr. Richard Levine from the Levine Clinic of Chiropractic on the Oakland County MegaCast with us. I'm talking to you and I immediately start to sit up straighter. And as you mentioned, we're all home so much more now, and it's easy to forget about your posture. You're leaning over, you're working from not a standard desk. Maybe you're, at the kitchen table, or for students on their beds, whatever. We've seen some of these devices hit the market where they buzz if you wear them to remind you to sit up straighter. Do those work? Should people invest in them?
You know what? I don't know too much about the ones that buzz, but what I can tell you is if they draw attention to the world of tech deck and postural abnormalities that we're seeing today, then they're a good device. And again, I don't know too much about it, but what I can tell you, something we always talk about to our patients is the ear, using the ear as a point of reference. And I don't want anybody that's watching this to take this as healthcare advice, without seeking the opinion of their medical doctor or their doctor of chiropractic. However, what I will say is I'm going to turn to the side to demonstrate. You'll notice here that my ear is on top of my shoulder. Now my ear has hung in front of my shoulder. And recent studies have shown that for every inch that the head hangs in a forward posture, that it puts an additional 10 to 12 pounds of weight on the spinal column. So if a child, if an adolescent, and if an adult who's working from home is allowing their head to hang 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in front of their shoulders like this, that's the potential for an extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of weight that you're putting on the spine. So, there are things that you can be doing at home. You can be sitting with lumbar support. You can be making sure that you're holding the head up. But, ultimately, like what you asked about that device, if it draws attention to the postural issue we're seeing in a society, then it's a great thing. Something we've been seeing in our office for quite some time is the degenerative patterns that we see in adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We're starting to see in college students and high school students, because today's high school students, they've been using technology in the classroom since they were in kindergarten, which means that the adult, they're generally not, starting to have those issues till they're in the workforce, sitting on computers, writing, driving. But kids, now that from the time that they're 5, 6 years old, they've got an iPad in the classroom, they're looking down at their desk like this all day instead of up at the teacher in front of them. I have a feeling that our society is going to start to see a long-term issue with this unless we start to stress the importance of spinal health and postural health to our kids.
So if I'm a parent sitting at home, a light bulb, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat, a light bulb is going off in my head as an adult. But if I'm a parent and I'm looking at my kids and you're describing what they're doing, is there something I can do now? And how young are they to be before they start seeing a chiropractor?
Well, we see children in our office as soon as newborns, and we have patients that are over 100 years old. Obviously, a 300-pound bodybuilder and a newborn are not going to be adjusted the same. We use a much lighter force on children, but we see a lot of kids in our office, and they benefit greatly from chiropractic. There's a lot of research behind it showing the importance and the safety of chiropractic for children. And then to answer your question about what a parent can do, is, the best thing we always tell patients in our office is if you're using a laptop, put a couple books underneath it. That way, instead of it being this high and having to look down to see it, now it's a little bit higher. It's been brought higher to our eye level. Other things that we talk to parents about is if a child is using an iPad or a tablet, not to ever lay it flat on the table. To always make sure that it's up on an angle, so that way we're looking like this instead of like this. Ultimately, it's positioning. And what we always recommend for people who are working at home and kids who are going to school at home virtually is to try to have as normal of a work setting as possible. And I say that in the sense of don't work on a couch looking down with the iPad on your thighs. Don't work on a bar stool, trying to hold your computer in one hand and look. Try to have as normal as a desk positioning as you can. A good flat surface with a good, comfortable, and supportive chair behind you. And also making sure that the chair has a back. Oftentimes kids, like to work on the ground, which means that they're slouching. We want to make sure that our kids are sitting up, that our adults are sitting up, so that way our spinal health isn't jeopardized.
So many great tips and great information. Before we let you go, Dr. Richard Levine, anything you want to add for our listeners and our viewers?
Well, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. The past week, I've been keeping tabs on what you guys are doing, and it's really great to have something not only in the West Bloomfield area, but countywide. Something local, hearing from our local businesses, and especially with what's going on in this pandemic, shining some spotlight on the local businesses. But what I can, something we talk about in our office, and I want this to be my last words, are don't wait for your spinal health. Don't wait for pain to pay attention to your spinal health. The same way we take care of our feet, our teeth, our hands, our face, we should put that same effort into our spine, because where we have options for other areas in the spine, in the body, we've only got one spine. So I want to make sure that everybody in Oakland County is taking care of it and not having problems down the road. At Levine Clinic, nothing makes us happier than seeing families that know the importance of spinal health. And again, I just want to thank you guys for having me on, and again, tell you what a wonderful job you guys are doing.